Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see your deck featured on the channel, hang out with me and the amazing BoshNRoll community on Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, or book an individual coaching session, check out the Patreon and YouTube member links in the video description. Use the code BoshNRoll to get 10% off the best Magic apparel on the market at coalesceapparel.shop. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to order cards from tcgplayer.com, or play any deck, anytime, with a Magic Online loan account from cardhoarder.com. Thanks again for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I am playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Spunky, and I am revisiting 4-color with red Loam Bant. Spunky was out of town for a while, playing some poker at the World Series of Poker, and is circling back to Magic after a month and a half, 2-month break. And he just sent me his deck from May and was like, hey, update this because I haven't played in a while. This is the version he sent me. This one is really heavy on Delver hate. Some things never change. And it's really heavy on Jeskai control interaction, like the Savine's Reclamation, the double Carpet of Flowers, 4 Narsets. All that stuff is pointed at Delver and Jeskai, both of which are still represented decks, but Jeskai is less popular and I think less good than it was 3 months ago. Delver is still exactly where it was, but now there are some additional versions of it with Ledger Shredder and no Delver and anti-dichotomy or whatever. Like there are flavors within the Delver shell, but I don't think that changes how we play against it very much. Here is my updated version. I'm going to switch over here. It's still the same deck. There's not a whole lot of variation in the core of these cards. Some changes on the fringes, though. I backed off of 4 Narset to get us a second Endurance. Endurance is just really good against the solutions. Well, not necessarily solutions, but the tools that people use to fight Delver and Jeskai, which is generally fast combo. Endurance is an extra piece against those. Endurance is also just good against Delver, being able to keep control of when they can play Murktide Regent by using Endurances strategically, as well as just dropping a giant 3/4 booty in front of their 3 power flyers. All good stuff. I just want more of that. That's the only change I made to the main deck. Things that I considered were, do we need 2 Force of Negation? And I think with the card advantage and the UROs and the Timeless Dragon and everything, we can afford an extra force to be alive longer. But the second Force of Negation I considered a more 1-for-1 counter, something like Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce, maybe even Dovin's Veto. This deck could play actual counterspell, like alpha counterspell, could be in that slot. But I left it as a force just because we're moving into this direction to give extra respect to faster combo. Like Storm was barely a thing 2-3 months ago, and now I see it in the league every single run in. I usually have a match against it, sometimes 2. So I'm going to keep that one for now. The other card I was looking at is Cephalid Coliseum, which is some spicy spunky tech that I have seen out in the wild. Target player draws 3, discards 3, activate if you have Threshold. This is really good at turning a Life from the Loam into a true draw engine. You cast Life from the Loam, pick up 3 lands, Cephalid Coliseum yourself to draw 3 cards and discard the 3 lands you just loamed. It's like a super brainstorm. The other piece of it is Cephalid Coliseum targets. So target player draws 3, discards 3. With Narset in play, you can just mind twist your opponent for 3 every turn with Life from the Loam. And because this can be done at instant speed, you could do it in their draw step. Wait till they draw and then hit their card. You can hardlock an opponent with Cephalid Coliseum, Narset, and Teferi. I think that's a low-cost thing to supercharge the deck, but I am going to keep an eye on it. It is a land that hurts you when you tap it, which comes up against Delver. Sometimes you do stabilize at like 7 life when you would lose at 6 to double bolt. Every life point matters in that matchup. It's also a land that's not an island for Mystic Sanctuary, which is an important piece to the Expressive Iteration shell. So Cephalid Coliseum's on watch, but I like the upside enough, and I think it's a small enough piece that we can make it happen. I moved the sideboard around a little bit. I turned the Carpet of Flowers and the Seeds of Innocence into a Collector Oof and a Force of Vigor. Force of Vigor lines up better against Blood Moon and still hits the... It still does something against 8-cast. Not as good as Seeds of Innocence, of course, but 8-cast has fallen way off as something I'm seeing in the leagues. Force of Vigor I'm much happier with against like Death and Taxes and Red Prison. And there's just a lot of things where Force of Vigor plays where Seeds of Innocence doesn't. I'm interested in that. Collector Roof still overlaps with 8-cast, but also hits Storm in a meaningful way. So we actually have more artifact hate in the sideboard now than we did. It just looks a little different. I backed off of a Carpet of Flowers. There were two. This is a card that I'm only really stoked to have against Delver, and only in the early turns. Like, we're a Loam deck with URO. That should get us out ahead of Control Mirrors over time, as long as we play the early turns well and don't die. But the 4 Red Blasts help with that. It's really only Delver, and only if I have a hand that's susceptible to Wasteland, that I really want this card. And I usually don't even play it in my Bant decks, but I can see the appeal if you really want to insulate against Delver, so it's still in there. And I cut Savine's Reclamation for Ashiok Game Ender. This card, once again, overlaps with almost everything. Like, every deck in this format wants to search its deck and or wants to use its graveyard, and many of them do both. I'm not bringing in Ashiok against, like, Delver just to, like, screw with Murktide Regent. I'm going to let Endurance do that. But bringing this in any sort of Uro mirror, any control mirror, any Storm deck, any deck with tutors, lands, they're a Loam deck with crop rotation. Green-White Depths is a graveyard deck with crop rotation. They have a lot of searching. They also have Elvish Reclaimer and Knight of the Reliquary and Ramunap Excavator. This thing just checks a lot of boxes in a lot of matchups that I think is extremely well positioned right now. 2 Ethersworn Canonist. Elves is a really tough matchup, and Canonist is one of the best cards against them. This also overlaps with all that Storm and Reanimator and Oops we've been talking about in a way that I believe is meaningful. The other card that's on watch is Serenity. This might be better as Meltdown because we are a red deck, but taking out enchantments against Red Prison matters a lot, and Red Prison is up in popularity and the matchup can be really challenging, so I'm going to stick with Serenity for now. Again, that's that decrease in 8-cast, increase in Red Prison we've been seeing. And those are my changes to update. That's the great thing about Legacy. You can go out of town for 2 months and come back to a pretty recognizable format. The meta shifts a little bit, but your 75, like 70 or 71 of the cards are still good right where you left them. It's great for people who are busy grown-ups who can't follow a standard metagame that changes every day. That's what got me into Legacy 14 years ago. Wow, it's been a long time. Anyway, before I go too far down memory lane there, this is Spunky's 4-color Bant update. Let's try it out. On the play in round 1, Island, Ponder, Keep. Even have a Force of Will to go with it. And I don't know what I'm playing against yet. I have land drops that I can hit without cantripping, so I'm just going to chill. A Prismatic Vista strategy. Dangerous. Now I can brainstorm in the end step with a fetch land if I am so inclined. If they don't give me a target for Wasteland right now, I'm probably going to shuffle that away in the end step. Okay. Prismatic Vista and Island do not make for good Wasteland targets. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, that's what we're doing. I'm going to get Tropical Island and guess Brainstorm with that. Like, I'm looking for Swords to Plowshares, and which means I don't want to fetch the white straight up. I want to find it after. I don't really want to Force of Will this, but forcing Teferi through might be reasonable. Okay, you can have your Stoneforge Mystic. Getting Cauldron complete. Fetching the end step. I want to respect the possibility of back to basics a little bit here, but also like want to cast my spells. I'm going to put Teferi in. Probably going to have to force pitching your own Teferi, force pitching Uro. I have 2 of those. Bouncing Stoneforge Mystic always feels bad because it's card advantage. They can play it, get another card, but keeping Cauldron out of play for a turn is nice. I didn't really want to mess around and find out with the Cauldron complete. Just let them put that into play, take the damage, and then bounce the Germ. I don't love True Name Nemesis being cast against me, but here we are. I have the choice to EI or just get URO pump in here. I'm going to ponder, see if I can find a second land drop. Oh, yep, found several. Okay, Flooded Strand, Field of the Dead. I'm going to draw the Field of the Dead and fetch probably Savannah here. Or do I want to go into Basic Town? I have green, or blue. Yeah, I want to give Back to Basics a little bit of respect here. There is a Supreme Verdict in my main deck that can tangle with True Name Nemesis. Also, URO embarrasses that card head-to-head, but backed up by Caracas or White Removal or whatever, it can get a lot worse. My Teferi is deceased. There's a Brainstorm. I have Plow for the Stoneforge now, so the equipments are just equipments. But they are 1 mana away from casting and equipping a Sword of Fire and Ice, if they have that. Brainstormed away the Cauldron and just regain the Cauldron. Yep, that's the line. That's how you do that. Okay, I can go for Escape URO right now, just slam it. I also get Swords of Plowshares out of that, and a zombie, if they have nothing. I'm going to Plow first. Just make sure that happens. And then go for URO. There's both Loam and Endurance in my deck to consider when I'm exiling cards. URO's in there. Which means, oh right, Tropical Island. I am not in the... Did I fetch for that? Or was it already there? I don't actually remember if I fetched for that, or like if I could have gotten Savannah there and didn't. I'm not in the Field of the Dead when I could have been. I do have Force, but I don't really want to lose my Expressive iteration. I hope they just cast Batterskull here. Jace. I can beat Jace. The Jace is brainstorming here. Looking for Swords to Plowshares, probably. Bummer. Alright. I have 7 mana, which can Expressive Iteration and Hardcast Force next turn. There's Savannah, that's good. So, I'm guaranteed a zombie here. But, red, blue. Expressive Iteration. Okay. I want to put Ponder in my hand. Or no, Brainstorm in my hand. Cephalid Coliseum on the bottom, exile Ponder. Then I can Ponder and still have Force of Will up. There's 4 Prismatic Endings in my deck, just for the record. That can answer Jace. I can... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to shuffle. I'm going to get a zombie off of Misty Rainforest, and then Misty Rainforest can get Mystic Sanctuary, which regrows my EI. Now Ponder. And Field of the Dead, just pressuring the Planeswalkers is pretty great here. Yeah, Jace had to minus instead of draw a card. I'm at 25 life. Not super worried about True Name Nemesis, which didn't even attack. Got plenty of islands to make this happen. Mystic Sanctuary. Regrowing EI. Yeah, put that on top, please. Let's do that again. Red, blue. Iteration. This looks like a Hardcast Force coming my way. And I can send one right back. Zap you back there. Oh, okay. Force Pit and Brainstorm. Alright, we got a 3-for-1 out of that. That's a deal. And I can still Brainstorm at the end of this pile. Nice. I want this Narset for sure. If they plus Jace, I want them to get rid of Force of Will. Or I could just fetch away Force of Will and keep my zombie army growing. This Brainstorm could get rid of the Cauldron or find the 7th land for Cauldron. This is the power of Field of the Dead. True Name Nemesis can't attack. Jace has minus twice, and they just spent an actual card on my land drop. And I have enough mana here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, to Narset with Force backup. Here's Narset. The only thing I know on top of my deck is a land, so I'm going to fetch and mix that up, get Savannah in the mix, get a zombie out of it, activate Narset, getting another Narset, or do I want to ending Jace right now? I think I want another Narset. Like, Jace, like, True Name can attack Narset here, but that exposes the Jace to an attack. Jace is plussing, targeting themselves. That makes sense. Just hit the 7th mana for Aldra, if that is the last card in the hand. Here's that other Narset. Activate. I'm going to put, is that Force of Negation? Yeah, okay, I'm going to put Ponder in my hand. Unfortunately, just saw the Cephalid Coliseum go for a ride. I very much wanted that card. Another Narset. Okay. Caracas, Brainstorm, Narset. Do not shuffle. Wasteland gets me a zombie, even though it doesn't do much else. Attack Jace. And Jace is down to 1. Man, Field of the Dead and Blue Mirrors is some shit. True Name has controlled the Narset extremely well. Stoneforge, Mystic. I think that's worth countering. And brainstorming with Jace. It's emergency brainstorm. Try to stabilize against the zombies, because now there's 4 power in play, so 3 is the same as 1 if they can't remove these. Beast Skull. Okay. Alright, deck, help me out here. We're drawing Narset number 3. Much to my opponent's delight. Narset finds EI and Prismatic Ending. I could Ending to for sure clear the Jace, or I could EI and be a greed monster. I will, I'll get this Jace out of play. They could just move the Batterskull over. I don't have 5 colors in the main deck. Carpet of Flowers can get there post-board. But a True Name holding Batterskull is a scary thing. I'm going to brainstorm here. Towards the Plowshares, Force of Will, Endurance. Okay. What does that do differently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives me Force. But then I'm just like not doing much for a while. Guess I don't have much choice in that matter. Prismatic End the Germ. Ending Batterskull here would be so sick, but I cannot. Attack Jace and attack my opponent. I don't think they're going to have Solitude with 1 card in their hand. Yeah, this is going to be a tough race from here if they just equip. Yep, there it is. 7 lifelink Vigilance that I cannot interact with. Alright, went after Narset first. That buys me a turn, but I am in trouble here because I'm also Brainstorm locked. And I need my Supreme Verdict to get out of this. Like, there's no Dress Down in my list. Yep. Some more damage coming in. Opponent's at 28. There's Endurance. Knew that one was coming. I don't know if my opponent is a Snapcaster deck, but I'm not gonna mess with it. Not yet. Life from the Loam. Okay, Life from the Loam, target the 3 lands in my graveyard. And there is still a basic forest in my deck at the very least. I can Swords to Plowshares one of my own creatures, but that doesn't change the race here. I'm at 2. I'm about to fetch to 1. Just trying to find that Supreme Verdict. It's in there. URO could do some work as well. Am I supposed to just dredge trying to spike URO? I think I want to take a draw. There's cantrips in the deck. And that's not any of them. Alright, we're dead. I was talking about Field of the Dead's presence in control matchups, but True Name Nemesis holding Batterskull. Also a tough sell. Okay. Force of Vigor, Ashiok, Pyroblast. Collector Oof isn't bad either. Just turning off the equipment's ability to move around is not nothing. Force of Negation's pretty bad. Force of Will has become pretty bad too. Like, Pyroblast is just doing a lot of that work. This isn't a huge Loam matchup because Wasteland doesn't do anything. I'm actually going to cut Wasteland as well. I'll leave 1 in just to keep my land count high. Flusterstorm, Hydroblast. And they're going to have their own Pyroblasts. I don't think I want Hydroblast just for that. I like Teferi. I like the Narsets. I could probably go a little skinnier on Plow. Because I can't target True Name. Stoneforge is card advantage anyway, and I still have the endings. Yeah, this one makes sense. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, I'm going to keep this Island Ponder hand. I'm going to fetch Tundra to start us off and cast the Ponder. Okay, found red mana and the Pyroblast. A Prismatic Ending for a Stoneforge if that happens. Teferi is my next card down. If I don't have to fetch, that would be great. Okay, I can Ponder here. I do like this Brainstorm and Loam. Don't like Karakas that much. I like Brainstorm more than I like Loam if I do end up shuffling this turn. I'm just waiting on this Expressive iteration. I'm not going to slam it into a Pyroblast. Make it easy for my opponent. Okay, so fetch for Volcanic Island. Play Life from the Loam, targeting 2 things. Surgically extracting my Flooded Strands. That's pretty funny. All right, those are both of my fetch lands. You got it. I mean, using extraction to stop the targets of Loam instead of URO or the Loam itself is a pretty big swing, and I still have a land drop. Like if I missed a land drop over this, it would probably be worth it, but I don't know if they're going to be happy with that decision long term. They also get to see my hand, so they know what's going on over here now, and if they can win a counter war. Rest in peace. Okay, JK. That one is a good reason to fire off Surgical first. Okay, I want to Prismatic Ending. Get rid of Rest in Peace. I could play Wasteland, or I could Brainstorm with the Wasteland. I think I want to Brainstorm. I can take the 1. Wasteland just isn't a real card in this matchup. Towards the Plowshare is maybe later. And Wasteland on top. They drop. Okay. All right, we're making moves here. Jace with Flusterstorm back up. We'll fight over the Narset. Okay, that worked. A little surprised, but I'll take it. I'm gonna go for EI here, because I can follow up with, or if I Teferi first. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that. Yeah, Teferi will sniff out the counterspell if they have one, and then I can slam the other one. Yeah, so there's the Pyroblast, and here's the Narset. We get 4 to choose from here. Probably just want another Narset, keep them coming. Pyroblast, Prismatic Ending, both clear Narset straight up here. The Ponder just to look at 3 cards. We're in good shape, folks. And back to basics. Okay, that's annoying. That is a card that they have. My deck is full of basic lands and Pyroblast, though. We'll find our way out of this. I hope. And Batterskull. Shit. Alright, well, we might have just gotten got by cheese mode, because we need both of the things. Wow, okay, yeah, just pants straight down. Attacking Narset. Yeah, I'm probably just kind of fucked here, the way this is playing out. Yeah, this is a lot to say about like the simplicity of what they're doing over there, because I've had Wasteland that didn't do anything both games. I've had a lock piece against like basically nothing, and then also Surgicaling my Narset, sure. Like they were way behind in both of these games, and then just got me with a single powerful thing. It was the back to basics this game, and it was the equipment last game, and they're gonna get me here too. Even if I plow one of these germs, they can re-equip to the other. Yeah. All right. Basic lands, folks. Respect them. And I talked about back to basics, and I mean, I used Pyroblast on a Narset, which might have been bait, but Narset would have been good too. The best kind of bait is the kind that's also gonna win if it happens, and just did not produce a second Pyroblast or the Force of Vigor in a timely manner. GG's. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I did have an out at the end of last round. If I had got basic Island, Brainstormed, and hit Force of Vigor, I could have waited till combat, and if they didn't draw a counterspell, hit Batterskull and back to basics, and then we're probably actually doing okay that game. So I did fail to play to an out that I had, but it was still rough. Okay, speaking of rough, I'm going to mulligan this no-lander. Okay, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to bottom the Cephalid Coliseum. I'm going to have some faith in my deck to produce a land or a cantrip before turn 3. But I want access to Plow and Force of Negation. Usually don't want both of those in a matchup, which is kind of awkward, but I don't know which matchup I'm on yet. So which one I'm going to want. A Bloodstained Mire strategy. Okay. There's that cantrip we were promised. Also really important to point out about last round, that Surgical Extraction denying me the 2 Flooded Strands would have been basic Plains, basic Island. So opponent was on it last round. They played that extremely well. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step. This looks like a Wasteland deck, whatever this Jund Magic Cards strategy is. That doesn't mean I can do anything about the Wastelands. Like, Misty Rainforest doesn't fetch basic Plains anyway, so I'm not going to fight that too hard. I'm going to get rid of URO and Force of Negation here. I have an URO already. And I'm going to get Savannah with Tundra coming off the top here. Ponder, okay. I think I'd rather URO first. Teferi shuts down Cascade, and this might be a Bloodbraid Elf deck if this actually is just like Jund. And I'm going to put in Mystic Sanctuary, even though I can't trigger right now. Just moving ahead on mana is going to be important. Like, if they play some 3-drop here, and then I can bounce it, and then they can't Bloodbraid Elf next turn, that would be pretty cool. Wasteland confirmed. Dark Confidant, yep. I can bounce that even if they waste me. Got this beautiful, like, untouchable Bant spread of dual lands. Can't take me off a color. Arrakis, okay. I think I want to Ponder and see where it goes. Now that I have the land that can definitely cast a fairy. Endurance, Swords to Plowshares, and extra land. None of these make the second green. So Endurance is already bad, and then I can't URO with this, so I'm going to shuffle this, actually. Prismatic Ending is cool. Let's bounce this Confidant. There's the second green. Okay, let's get URO into play this turn, please. A second Wasteland taking me off another green would be pretty rough. That's not a Wasteland. Hope they don't main deck Scavenging Ooze, or just like hardcast Endurance here. Both of those would be pretty annoying. Alright, Ignoble Bro. Sure. Are we going to see that Bob come back? That would actually be fine with me. If I can get URO into play, that is... Okay, yeah, fine. Deal. Are they gonna pitch Endurance here? Change of plans. Basic Forest is on the menu. Basic Forest. That gets me green, green, blue, blue. And Teferi, Misty, Brainstorm. Wow. Just leave 2 lands there in case I draw Loam. This URO hits a land drop guaranteed. It's already here. And I could exile this Ignoble Hierarch, but I know Dark Confidant's in their hand. And picking up URO with Caracas could end up being part of my game plan. I don't expect Jund to have exile-based removal, but if they do, I'm ready. There's the Bob. I'm ready for that too. And I can end the Bob. I kind of expect a Prismatic Ending, or not Prismatic Ending, and a Barp Decay before combat here. Sudden Edict. All right, also works. URO is suddenly deceased. Can't even Caracas it back. Sure. Second main. I have to use my land drop to play this Expressive Iteration, which means I don't get a land drop off Expressive Iteration, but I could URO. Yeah, I can URO in the wake of it. I still have blue, blue, green, green up. I'm going to EI. Okay, so Flooded Strand in hand, Brainstorm on the bottom, exile Brainstorm. This lets me URO, put Flooded Strand into play and cast that Brainstorm. This can just be any blue land. Getting the basic island setup makes sense. Blue, blue, green, green is still here. Exactly enough to escape. I had to put the Flooded Strand in my hand to get the extra value here because the URO effect doesn't work from exile. Swords of Plowshares was great. Now I get to Brainstorm and Answer the Dark Confidant. Brainstorm, let's go. Life from the Loam. Wow, this is a stacked setup here. I'm going to put Prismatic Ending and Expressive Iteration on top. That lets me Swords to Plowshares now, and then also if they cast like Hymn to Turok or something, my EI is on top of the deck where it's safe. And Loam is a card I don't mind discarding. This is exactly the kind of deck that URO pushed out of the metagame, though, when it was printed. Just insane. So far this game, my opponent has wastelanded me, and I'm still up, 5 lands on them? They have cast a 1/1 removal spell on a card that already drew a card in Teferi. Then they cast a 1/1 removal spell on a card that already drew 2 cards in URO. I iterate again. Put Endurance in my hand. Blooded Strand on the bottom. Exile Prismatic Ending. Ending the Plague Engineer. White 2. Just want to get this Death Touch creature out of the way so I can start smashing with my giant. And we got the concession. Cool. Yeah, URO just muscling a Jund deck. This deck could have Blood Moon in it. I want to respect that a bit. Force of Vigor. Do I want Ashiok? Maybe. Force of Negation seems like it's going to be medium. And Hydroblast and Force of Vigor are respect for Blood Moon. May or may not actually have the moon. But we saw a Basic Swamp and Ignoble Hierarch. This deck could definitely shove that card in. Flusterstorm, they probably have discard. Like, that's the appeal of being black in Legacy, is the powerful discard suite. So I'm going to put Flusterstorm in. And probably shave a Force of Will for that. Just cutting 2-for-1s for 1-for-1s here. Or 2-for-2s in the case of Force of Vigor. Ashiok is the last question mark. Like, do I want... What do I think is going to come out of their graveyard? Like, are they a Kroxa deck? Are they a Loam deck? All right, until I see more, I'm just going to leave Ashiok where they are and just do this light sideboard. All right, I got land cantrip on the draw. I'm going to keep this a pair of Plows for their Dark Confidant and Ignoble Hierarch based plan here. Unless I draw another blue source right away, I'm not going to just snap off Plow on a Ignoble Hierarch, though. Okay. Hard mode activated. I'm going to wait for my turn to cast Brainstorm. If they play Bob here, I will just fetch the Tundra, expose myself to Wasteland, and use my mana efficiently. Okay. I'm on the hook for this now. I said it. And I believe it to be true. Tundra... Swords to Plowshares, this creature. Go to my turn, have the land anyway. And that means I can save my Brainstorm. It's even the one land in my deck that could cast Expressive Iteration right away. Wasteland's still annoying here, but alright, Beseiju, deal. Sylvan Library, ooh, representing Veil of Summer as well. Oh, I have Narset in my hand. Literally Narset in my hand. Okay, I'm gonna Brainstorm now, see if I find the land for Narset. I did, which means I can ignore Sylvan Library. Alright, that was a good find. I'm gonna put Flusterstorm and Plow on top of my deck, so I can redraw the Plow. But Library resolves. Yeah, there's a world where I could have just jammed Force of Will into Veil of Summer there, or I could look at the cards in my hand and make a smarter choice. As much as I would love to respect Blood Moon, I think I need to get my green mana online. All my win conditions cost green. Pyroblast is going to mess me up anyway. I could avoid Lightning Bolt by not activating Narset, but I think I want to get some cash out of this right away. Hydroblast looks like a good one. It's a blue card for Force, as well as, if I untap, just answers the thing straight up. No Library on my watch, and... Are we just passing the turn over there? Playing a land. If they are a Bloodbraid Elf deck, 3-power haste is pretty rough here. Oh wait, it's second main. I don't even care about that. Hardcast Leyline of the Void. That's fine. Force of Vigor's in my deck somewhere. Prismatic Ending's in my deck somewhere. You make that happen. Force of Vigor's right there. I think it's a good turn for Expressive iteration. Red, blue, put Endurance in my hand, or backup Narset. I think I want the backup Narset. I can't even cast this Endurance. But Endurance is my green card for Force of Vigor. That's fine though. I'll take my time on that. Endurance on the bottom, exile basic island. Play basic island, and then I think I want to ponder. Teferi can bounce Leyline and then hit a land drop. None of this is really great though. I'm extremely interested in just finding another green mana. I'm not going to activate Narset because I would just have to go to cleanup, and she is affecting the board at 3 life or 3 loyalty right now. Stuffed another library trigger. Got 2 out of that one. They actually have a lot of answers to Narset in their deck. We've seen Abrupt Decay. I gotta imagine Lightning Bolt and Pyroblaster in there too. Okay, Narset. Find me something that finds me green mana. Unholy Heat. That's fine because I got another one. Resolves. Fairy or Prismatic Ending. This is rough. I have to go to cleanup regardless. But Teferi can at least. Ugh. All right. I don't want to give them a single turn with their library active. I'll redeploy Narset here, and I do have to go to cleanup. I think I'm going to discard the Supreme Verdict. It's my other blue card, but it's fine. Okay, let's draw another card here. Red Blast, Hydro Blast. Cool. Survived that. Found white mana. Do I want white mana? Do I need white mana? I mean, mana's mana. Let's party. Get Teferi into play here. Teferi can bounce the Leyline. I'll make you replay that at least. Narset can be activated now. Puts her back into bolt range. But I think it's okay. Field of the Dead, Brainstorm, Force of Will. None of these are blue sources still. I'm gonna shuffle my or green sources. All right, found the green. Endurance and Force of Vigor. Suddenly awake. Hopefully they just spend this turn redeploying Leyline, and then I get a clean 2-for-1 on Force of Vigor. The land was their draw for turn. Leyline's fine. Draw for turn. Play my land. Plus Teferi. I guess I should just force now and activate Narset, rather than spending a whole turn cycle without drawing a card that I could have drawn. Zap those 2 with the hard cast. Activate Narset. Prismatic Ending is the only hit. Okay, now I have stabilized against that stuff. Let's find an URO and win the game now. How about that? They can't Cascade because Teferi's in play. That card doesn't matter. I think I'm just gonna like stuff up behind Endurance here. Ooh, Loam's good. Loam's always good. Oh wait, right, I can just fetch another green source. I was like, wait, if I do this, it taps me on a double green. That's fine. And maybe I just play Endurance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't get Narset into play here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to cleanup and discard the Flooded Strand. And I will try to ambush this Noble Hierarch or Ignoble Hierarch with Endurance. If they don't fall for it, that's fine. I'll just play Endurance anyway. Believe there's a Tropical Island left in my deck. There is. Alright, they see me tapping Endurance mana and are just conceding. Fair enough. A very clean outmuscling of a non-blue deck. All my stuff are 2-for-1s. Stuffing the Sylvan Library, which was basically the whole game, and everything else just fell into place from there. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the draw with a rough one round 3, this just doesn't even do anything. If I knew my opponent was on just like mono 1-drop aggro of some kind, maybe this hand's keepable, but okay, here's a real legacy hand. I'm going to keep this and send the, I think the Prismatic Ending or Plow could come up later, and Ending is still good on turn 1. Yeah, I'm going to say Plow for later. Misty Rainforest and pass. All right, I'm just going to land go here. I don't know what I'm pondering for yet. A Snow Forest, my goodness. Don't these people know URO is dead? Long live URO. I'm still going to land go. Still don't know what they're doing. They could surprise me with, like, show and tell. I hope they're not a Hull Breacher deck, but we're about to find out. Oh god, am I getting stifled? Alright, I'm not getting stifled. Good news, everybody. I'm just going to ponder. It looks like we're against some sort of Bant, something or other. I don't really want Force of Negation at all. I'll take another ponder, though. And I guess I will play my land and pass here, rather than pondering right away. There might be a world where I want this Force of Negation, because I'm in hardcast territory. Oh, Zagoth Triumph. Oh, this is probably just the actual 3-color Bant deck that I played on the channel last week. The Zagoth Triumph's kind of giving it away here. I kept the Force of Negation. If they have a Jace or an Narset or something, I would like to be able to engage with it on a 1-for-1 basis. Put Brainstorm in my hand, I can shuffle away the 2 other lands. Brainstorm from my opponent, you got it. Probably just going to fetch my Triome here if they don't do anything else. Oh, we're doing something. Okay. I'm fetching Tropical Island and Volcanic Island here and casting Force of Negation on this. Volcanic Island and Tropical Island. Force of N. Okay, so they forced back, pitching Ponder. This is going to resolve. I have Prismatic Ending that can target Narset, and I have Expressive Iteration that can gain card advantage through Narset. So this isn't really that bad, all things considered. They just put another Force of Will in hand. That makes it a little worse. Let's see if they want to just slam Force of Will on this Expressive Iteration. I hope they do, honestly. Nope, could not be convinced. Okay, yikes. This actually fucks up my whole shit. Okay. Brainstorm in hand. Towards the Plowshares on the bottom. Exile Wasteland. And I can just main phase Endurance before they can hardcast Force. Their deck's full of removal. I don't expect this to, like, go the distance, but it can challenge Narset and it makes them do something about it. And if it resolves, I also get to poke the graveyard and slow down URO. Brainstorm in response. And spending a Force on it. Force pitching URO. Alright, deal. We ended up getting 2 cards out of that one, which is pretty lucky considering how much white removal this deck plays. The list I played didn't have a Days Undoing or any, like, eat button, and I hope that this one doesn't either. There's URO. Okay. I can cast Prismatic Ending and Endurance next turn. Uh-oh. Activating Narset again. And we see another Narset. Okay. Hard mode. Okay, I'm going to play my land and fetch a Tundra. And then I can play... I had to get white there as much as I would like to get the... Oh wait, do I even need a Prismatic Ending this thing? They're just going to play another one. And maybe I want to save it. I could Wasteland now, and then... I'm actually just going to Wasteland the white. And then cast Endurance. There's only one white source over here. Floating blue. Move to combat and burn that off. Second main, Endurance. Green, colorless. There are 3 cards in the hand. We know one of them's Narset. Can't Force of Negation this. Boo! Force of Will pitching Force of Negation. Oh no. Alright. Now we're fucked. That was the chance. Now they can URO. Bad News Bears team. I mean, it might not be all that bad. I can still Prismatic Ending, Narset, Brainstorm, and find an answer to URO, and then we're cooking again. But yeah, really would have preferred that this URO was not part of the game. Found their white source. Second Prismatic Ending is Gasoline. Okay, white, blue, green, Prismatic Ending, URO. Okay, cool. I think I want to... And I could Mystic Sanctuary now, get my Expressive Iteration back, which I am interested in. Or I could wait. Like, Endurance and Jace are both cards in this deck where one incentivizes me to do it now, one incentivizes me to wait. I definitely wasn't going to ending this Narset on one because they were likely to deploy the new Narset, which I am much happier to exile. There's Jace. Okay. And the land. Fuck. Oh, wasting me. That's smart. That takes me off the 4th color. Yeah, that messes up my Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. Glad I didn't main phase the Mystic Sanctuary, because that would have made it uncastable. I'm going to get my other red source here, though. I'm going to need it. Nice. Okay. Prismatic Ending, Narset, white, blue, green. 1 mystery card in hand. Brainstorm. Let's go. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put back... I can't have double force here. And... Alright, so I'm going to put back Brainstorm and Misty Rainforest. Alright, we got 1 shot to win the fight over this Jace, then we're in some trouble. And I can leave Brainstorm in my hand, or I can leave Force in my hand. Alright, I'm going to force pitching Force, exile the Jace. Okay, the Jace is gone. Starting to stabilize here, team. This Misty Rainforest can get Expressive Iteration back on top of my deck. I know there's a Brainstorm on top right now. Alright, I can EI now while they can't Endurance me, or at least not as a 1-for-1. B-Storm, what's up to Fairy? Put EI on top with the land drop guaranteed underneath. Fairy's in. It's going to draw a card right away. Don't want to get Prismatic Endinged, because there are 2 cards in that hand that they have not played yet. They're not lands, and they're spells that have not had targets or things to point at. Told ya. Alright, Fairy's gone. Alright, EI. It's time to do stuff. Force of Will in hand, Force of Will on the bottom, exile Life from the Loam, then Loam targeting Wasteland, Volcanic Island, and Misty Rainforest. I am going to start wasting. Wasteland, the white source. I don't really want to put Zagoth Triumph in the graveyard. It's mostly just a tropical island, but it also, if they draw Loam, can become a draw engine. Okay, now you have Wasteland. Do you want to get in a Wasteland fight with someone who has Loam looping? Apparently you do. Both of my Endurances have been used already, so I do need to be like kind of careful about how hard I Loam here. Loam, Wasteland, take you off, Tropical Island. Okay, I'm gonna stop Loaming. That was pretty rough, and I think that was a mistake to be doing at all. Like, my hand is full of gas right now. If I find a Brainstorm or anything ever, Cephalic Coliseum plays here, URO, Field of the Dead, all of it just unlocks like crazy. Okay. Dress down for the cantrip. They found white mana if they want it. Another Wasteland, just ripped it raw. Heal. I will take out the nothing. I'm gonna save this for white source, I think. At least it's in play. There's a Field of the Dead in both of our decks somewhere. That's a thing I could save Wasteland for also. Jeez, come on, deck. I'm playing out fetch land, so when I find Field of the Dead, I can make multiple zombies right away. Yeah, it was kind of silly for both of us to waste each other. I mean, they had that good Wasteland on my red source, but this matchup is not really about that. Okay, here we go. Supercharge me, daddy. Target myself. Do not dredge Loam. Draw 3 cards. Discard 3 cards. That was pretty cool. Okay, and then I have my other Loam. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there a fetchable land left in my deck? I'm not sure, honestly. And I don't want to spend the time to figure it out, so I'm just going to pass with Force of Will up. Okay, I'm not dredging Loam because there's already one in my hand. Arrakis is pretty good. Cephalid Coliseum, Wasteland, and Misty Rain or Tropical Island. Go back to my hand. Green, colorless. I could genuinely deck myself before I win this game. Like, this is actually a problem. Both my endurances are answered already. All right, I'm not going to fight over that life from the loam, and I'm just going to pass. I'm behind on clock, behind on decking. Haven't found an URO in my top 41 cards in my deck. That sucks. Not dredging loam here. Timeless Dragon slaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I'll just cast this thing. Or I can wait. If I wait a few turns, I'll be able to cast it with force backup. I have enough actual lands in my hand. And Field of the Dead's still in there somewhere. I hope, maybe. Oh shit, there's yours. Well, hard mode. Narset. I like that card. I'm gonna cast Narset. And pop her. Wow, 2 UROs, 2 lands at the bottom. One of them is Forest, which confirms that there is a fetchable land in my deck. That's good news. And I can cast Timeless Dragon here, but that gives up on the thing that I just said I was trying to do. I'm going to hold my Wasteland. They can't kill Narset with what they have in play, and if they fetch, I can waste. There is a Supreme Verdict in here somewhere. Okay, Narset's down to 1. How about a card that matters deck? Oh my god. This has been a disaster of epic proportions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can at least cast the Timeless Dragon now with force backup. Not that I think that's good or actually wins the game, but force that. Timeless Dragon's in play, and they didn't fetch in the end step. They're either out of fetchables or like think they have enough here. Snapcaster's really good. Yeah, this is definitely the list I played. I'm just gonna try to recoup some time here. And both endurances hitting the bin so early. I wish I could be just aggro dredging, aggro loaming, and getting through this. But I cannot. Narset. Let's do that again. There she is. How about Supreme Verdict? That would be great. Ponder, another Narset. I'm gonna get Ponder. Cast Ponder. There's no red cards left in my deck. URO is not terrible. I'm not going to dredge loam, of course. And then URO can green, blue, colorless. Here's URO. I should have put Brainstorm on top and brainstormed into URO, turning these Swords of Plowshares into actual cards. Okay, I'm just passing here. Yeah, they really don't need to do anything. It's pretty messed up. They're sending the whole squad at Narset. Makes sense. I'm going to brainstorm now. These Swords of Plowshares are not helping me. Put back, plow, plow, fetch. Got 1 fetchable land. Also going to wasteland this Field of the Dead now. Let them fetch out their zombos. Nope, failed to find on the Flooded Strand. Alright, just failing to find all around. Supreme Verdict time. Clear those out. And then URO. Green, blue, colorless. I have Caracas that can bounce URO. I need to save it. Gonna ponder. Really need my Field of the Dead. And I guess I'll take this Force of Will. They haven't seen a loam yet. Like, loam's really good. There are some wastelands, or there are UROs and loams left in their deck. And right, Narset, get in there. I kind of wish they would play an Narset, then URO doesn't deck me when it attacks. Just kind of picking cards at random in the interest of time. Field of the Dead on top. Nope. I literally can't win this game. Or is that true? I have no way. Oh, if I wasteland my Mystic Sanctuary, but I'd have to dredge loam to do that, and that's bad. Is there some convoluted way to get an endurance back into my hand? I don't think so. Alright, I'm firing off Force of Wills like crazy now. Opponent's at 18. Endurance, please target me, please target me, please target me. Targeted yourself. Shit. Okay. This game is not really winnable anymore. Or Plow in your hand. Okay, I've untapped with Force of Will up. I can 1, 2, 3 exile Endurance without giving them life. I think I'm an attack short of being able to win the game, unless they play their own Narset. So I can't draw cards anymore. Force there. Attack. Field of the Dead. Okay, now I can attack without losing the game. Opponent's at 11. I have a land, that's another zombie. Okay. So I draw for turn, next turn 2 cards left, attack with URO, 1 card left, draw for turn, 0 cards left, and the zombies can finish it off without URO attacking. It's possible. Loam targeting Misty, you got it. They can't draw cards. Exiling URO, fucking okay. That card was likely to kill me. Is there a land left in my deck? Maybe not. I don't think I can win the game. I can look at my whole deck and figure out if I can win the game or not. Okay. Nope, I cannot. I'm just gonna F6 to try to recoup some time. Some intense URO on URO bullshit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there. Or 2, 6. Oh no. Why am I so worried here? I do have them dead if they can't do anything. Where's the Plowshares? Alright, that probably kills me. But I can at least spend time on it. Yeah, I wonder if there was something, if I had time to think about it more, that would have, like some Mystic Sanctuary line, or there was like one turn earlier where I said I wish I hadn't dredged Loam this turn, and turns out I was right. I did at least recognize I need to stop dredging Loam early. Like this could have happened 3 turns ago, but bummer. Okay, they're still taking game actions inexplicably. Just spending a lot of time doing stuff. And I could have just F6'd and I die in my upkeep. Alright, cool. Eat up that clock. Eat up that clock. Alright, I'm dead. Bummer! That was a great game, though. Endurance really important in these mirrors to make sure you don't deck. And not having even a single endurance left in my deck when I started doing the Cephalid Coliseum thing sucked really hard. Okay, Red Blast, Ashiok. I don't love Surgical when I have Ashiok as a tool, but yeah, I'm gonna take my own advice. Okay, force some negations. I'm gonna let Ashiok handle graveyard stuff. Force of Will, a lot worse than Pyroblast. I kind of like Supreme Verdict if I ever get behind. Swords of Plowshares is not super important. And they have targets for it, but I have a lot of removal in this deck. Do I want my Surgical is the only mystery remaining. I could cut Wasteland. I think those turns we spent wastelanding each other were mistakes too. Like I could have just been doing anything else with my mana. I also dredged Loam twice to wasteland them twice in a game that wasn't really moving forward at all, and like those were the 3 to 6 cards that could have stabilized the game for me so I don't deck out. Yeah, mistakes were made. When you see your whole deck, you get to see what sort of mistakes you made along the way. Right, I'm going to cut a Wasteland. I like having one as an out to Field of the Dead, but Wasteland's not really part of the plan in this matchup, despite me playing that way last round. I'm going to keep this. A lot of Pyroblasts. Need some help from this Brainstorm, but let's go. We play a lot of lands. Gotta be clicking fast. We are 2.5 minutes apart on the clock. On land. Okay. Gonna get a... Okay. Firing off a Brainstorm in response here. Gonna get a Tropical Island here. Brainstorm, please don't fail me now. Okay, got there. No problems. You don't need 3 Red Blasts in my opener, and Swords of Plowshares usually isn't good for a while. I am going to keep that Red Blast on top of my deck, or the Red Blast is second down, isn't it? I'm going to shuffle this away, just in case. Whoops. Okay, Basic Plains, Life from the Loam. Let's get this running. Like, I've loamed once. That's probably enough for the whole game now. I'm going to hit my land drops. I have URO. I can back it up with Pyroblast. I can counter a Narset or Teferi cleanly here. Let's hold up this Red Blast and let them know they're on notice forever. I fetch Savannah here. Savannah. URO. Maybe I should have led on Teferi, but I'm kind of interested in pushing my mana forward. I think I can fetch the Ketria Triumph now. Play Teferi next turn. They could just Endurance here. Not with that mana, they can't. Never mind. Pyroblast, counter that. Yeah, that's gone. And I'm going to get my Ketria Triumph so I can double Pyroblast. There are enough of them in the deck that that's a thing that could come up. Triome. I'm not going to dredge Loam. It would turbocharge an URO into play, but I don't think I need that right now. Actually, I kind of like turbocharging URO into play. Let's do that. Change my mind. Green, green, blue. Yeah, just any blue land works here. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm going to leave Loam in the graveyard, exile all the other cards. And I'm going to cast Ponder here off of a basic. Caracas, Surgical Brainstorm. I'll take a Surgical here. If I could Surgical their Swords of Plowshares or Prismatic Endings, then I know Uro's going to go coast to coast. Not really how I want to use the card going long, but with down 4 minutes on my clock compared to them, it's a tough spot. Prismatic Ending, okay. Iceland. Okay, going after my Volcanic Island when I have Ketria Triumph in play. Sure. Ponder, you got it. I'm not going to Pyroblast that. Not dredging Loam. I'm going to Ponder. Ooh, Field of the Dead. Do not shuffle the library. Do not dredge Loam. Play Field of the Dead. Let's do this shit. Fairy, white, blue, colorless. Fairy, get in there. Force of Willing Me. I have a red blast for that. Then I draw a card. I am going to dredge Loam because I don't want the top cards in my deck. They could like slam Jace here. That one would be pretty good. Narset's fine. I have pressure for that. Carpet of Flowers that they can cast. All right. Lots of mana available now. Carpet. Triggers. Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, Narset into Carpet into Jace is certainly a line. Okay, draw for turn. EI, what's up? Happy to see you. Red, blue. Let's find a way out of this together. Ashiok in hand. Endurance on the bottom. Exile Timeless Dragon. Plus Teferi. Cast Ash. Oh shit! I should have done this the other way. Damn it! I'm fucking this up. I'm just playing bad because I'm rushed. Yeah, I should have played Ashiok and Loam this turn. It didn't make any fucking sense. That was a terrible play. Okay, pass the turn. Yeah, I could have had cleared their graveyard. They can't search, and also an extra zombie in play here. And instead, I just don't have those things. Awful. Force of Will doesn't work with Teferi in play. Bouncing my creature. Yep. They get mana second main if they want it. Didn't want it. Okay. All right, let's try to play this turn correctly. Life from the Loam, target my 3 lands, including Caracas, green, colorless. I played the land that gets me 2 zombies. Play Ashiok. All right, they seem to be fetching. Gonna Mystic Sanctuary in response. No, just getting Zagoth. All right, fetch in response is required. All right, hit you with Ashiok. Get your cards out of there, and then pass the turn. I probably should have ended the carpet. They don't have mana with it anyway. Jace is drawing cards. I don't think I can win a 3rd game in 5 minutes. Burrow, sure. I have Surgical for that. As long as they don't have their Field of the Dead. Ponder, yep. Okay. Oh, I have Ashiok in play. I don't need a Surgical. Burrow. Where's the Plowshares? Okay. I have to just let this happen. Go to my turn, because now they have Wasteland up. I can't. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this Carpet of Flowers has been really good. Okay. Draw for turn. Don't dredge Loam. Play Volcanic Island. Get myself a zombie. Gonna Prismatic Ending the Carpet. A little late for that, but there it is. I hit you with Ashiok. I am gonna send my Teferi to... Oh wait, nope. Narset's in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make this large creature and plus Teferi. Yeah, not exiling Carpet last turn. I'm gonna be in a losing position anyway. Yeah, the clock is really stressful. This is why nobody plays this deck. I haven't played it in so long that I forgot the... I genuinely stopped playing this deck because of clock considerations, both on Magic Online and in real life. Prismatic Ending my Ashiok. Okay. Other URO. Okay. 0 cards in their hand currently. Now there's 1. Making a 2/2. I'm going to extract Prismatic Ending in the end step. I want to see what they're doing over there. Ending, URO in hand. I would have got an extra card out of that. Great. Going to my turn. Don't dredge Loam. Caracas gets me another zombie. I'm going to attack Narset. That's the one I'm worried about. Narset's dead. Teferi bounce one of these samurais. Found URO. I'm going to brainstorm. I'm losing this game to time, but I'll at least try to play it correctly for education's sake while we're hanging out here. 2 UROs on top of the deck, and then brainstorm, and I'm going to dredge Loam with the first one and put back Versa Plowshares and Expressive Iteration, then escape URO. Green, blue. Nope, can't do that. Then I can't cast Pyroblast. Pyroblast Jace first. Fetch. Get Tropical Island. Get a zombie. And play URO. Oh, they have Caracas in play. I don't need to play URO. Just going to pass with my Force Up. Wasting Field of the Dead, you got it. URO is their only card in hand. Can Vig up and first strike up their Samurai. Paradox Zone, nah. Counter that. They can didn't attack, interesting. Plus Teferi, Expressive Iteration. But Narset in hand, Plow on the bottom, exile, eat, ending your object here. Play from the Loam, target Field of the Dead. The 3 lands I have, basically. Field of the Dead, trigger, escape URO, green. Nope, that doesn't matter because of the Caracas. Attack Wandering Emperor, attack opponent, attack opponent, attack opponent. They have URO in their hand right now. Narset will lock this up. We're going to time out, which we knew the whole time, but at least we won the game. Force of Will back up. I don't care about URO. It's just like gain 6 life, put a creature into play. Or gain 3 life. Okay, just went straight out of the graveyard with it. Bounce URO. Plus Teferi. Make some zombies. Back with all my creatures. Yeah, we win this one 1,000 times out of 1,000 in real life, but it's Moto, is what it is. I am narrating my plays while my opponent does not in this block mirror. I just misclicked and took Force of Will instead of Pyroblast. Luckily, they do the same thing on this board. Opponent's at literal 1. Couldn't find 1 more damage somewhere. Me. Yes, you can have URO. I don't care. That 4 life is not going to save you. That's 6 life is not going to save you. Words of Plowshares, don't care. Would have forced that in real life. But as we know, this is not real life. My opponent just said, you concede, please. You're going to win in 19 seconds. Shut up. I know how this works. The fuck? Like, why even open your mouth? Are you like that hard up for your minute and 30 seconds of sideboarding? Like, why say anything? I understand how this works. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to like go into game 3 and immediately concede. Like, thanks for the heads up, opponent. I didn't realize there was a round clock. All right, yeah, we don't need to see our opening hand here. Okay, game one, I made some bad loam decisions that ended up decking me, where we were otherwise ahead on every metric except for cards in deck, which is a viable metric in this matchup. And then game two, we just beat them fair and square. I found my Field of the Dead. Game one, my Field of the Dead and all 3 UROs were in the bottom 18 cards of my deck when they had already gone through 2 UROs and had field running the whole game. And it still came down to just me making a bad decision with a loam. So the 4-color version is more powerful than the 3-color version for sure. And yeah, that's my conclusion to that. But like the clock is going to be a problem and is a big reason not to actually play this deck. But if you are going to play the deck, make sure you know what you're doing. I think we win this match in paper because like I don't have to click to decline loam. I don't have to like click through UROs. I can take my actions faster. All that stuff is true. But all right, next round. I'm on the draw in round 4. My opponent said, "Oh no, I think you know my deck." So it might be something from the channel. I'm going to keep this hand. This is among the best hands I could see with this deck. Yeah, I don't miss doing the clock soliloquy. Back when I was playing Bant on the channel all the time and like the various versions, and it's just like I've had about enough of. I'm like very tired of explaining that I was narrating and have to click certain things that you don't have to in real life. And I genuinely think that the Moto clock is just disqualifying for playing this deck online, unless you're just lightning fast. If you have anything to do or anywhere to be, or you're not a master with this deck, or a new player willing to take clock losses while you think through it, then just don't even touch this thing. Oh, Thoughtseize took Ponder. Left Force of Will alone. Brainstorm, yep. I wonder if this is Grixis control or if this is trying to think of decks. Is this check pile? Trying to think of decks that I've played on the channel that would have these cards in them. I'm gonna get the Expressive or the Ketria Triome right now. Just want to get myself set up for this Expressive iteration that is gonna happen eventually. Playing the fetch land because I'm not convinced I'm gonna need Swords to Plowshares for this matchup, whatever it is. Most Underground Sea decks are not susceptible to plow in meaningful ways. They're either combo decks or control decks. Impulse. Oh, I know who this is. This is a coaching client who I helped construct their deck the other day. Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize their username right away. Yeah, this is a coaching client of mine who has Show and Tell Reanimator is kind of their pet deck. It's blue-black. It tries to put cards into play and cards into the graveyard from both the hand and other places. Now that I know what I'm up against, I actually do want to keep this plow. Yeah, it's a pretty cool deck. I've played against this opponent once on the channel before, and I kind of soul read the back half of the deck. I only saw Show and Tell stuff game 1, but I saw Black Mana and Archon of Cruelty, and I was like, this is probably a Reanimator deck, and boarded in my Surgical Extractions. And he watched that video later, and based on that soul read, was like, I need coaching from this guy. So we had a coaching session where I cleaned up this deck, made it a lot better. Thoughtseize was my innovation, so if I lose that Thoughtseize, I'm in trouble. But at least I know what's going on here. And I know the deck is really soft in our set. Okay, I think it's time to iterate. Red, blue. The Cephalid Coliseum is chilling here. Endurance and Caracas are both good against this deck. Okay, so I'll put Endurance in hand, drop on the bottom, exile Caracas. Okay. I can remove legendary creatures. I can remove Archon. I can counter spells. I can attack the graveyard. I didn't even activate Narset last turn. I would have gone to discard if I did. And I can just ram this Timeless Dragon into play, or I could cycle it. I think I want to cycle it. Grab the basic planes. That just gets me closer to Threshold, which is where I need to be. I'm going to activate Narset because I think getting to Threshold and blasting my opponent with Suffolk Coliseum is going to be completely bonkers. I'm just going to go to discard and drop the Prismatic Ending. That's not going to help me much here. I can Endurance in the end step and start attacking, or I can wait for some sort of Reanimator thing to happen. The opponent only has 4 cards in hand, so the Cephalid Coliseum's going to Shadow Realm. But because they're a graveyard deck, I want to hold up my Endurance, save it for next turn, and deal with it there. Okay, URO is a good one. Play Cephalid Coliseum. I have 8 cards in my graveyard, and I'm going to go to my opponent's draw step and hit them with Cephalid Coliseum and back it up with Endurance. All right, you can discard 3 cards. How do you feel about that? Maybe pretty good, actually, in this Reanimator deck. If I didn't have Endurance and Double Force to back this up, I might not mess around with it. Yeah, Grizzlebrand in the graveyard with 2 Thoughtseizes. Yeah, there's the Exhume. I'm going to Endurance. Yeah, that's why I lined that up as I did. This is also an Entomb deck, so if he has Entomb, again in response, I get my Timeless Dragon. Nice. I forgot Timeless Dragon was in there, but nice little bonus. Time to go to Smashy Town. I'm not even going to play cards. I just have Force on the hard cast and on the pitch cast, and Swords of Plowshares and Caracas, and gotta get through Narset with all of that if you want to do it at all. Wasteland lets me... I only have 2 blue sources, so I can't actually play either of my Planeswalkers and hold up Force and Negation on the hard cast, so I'm just not going to cast anything. Can only crack one of these 3 fetch lands at 2 life here. Show and Tell. How about no? What is happening? Cast. Okay, I was misclicking. Moto thought that I was pitch casting it, but I'm not. Yeah, that Cephalid Coliseum was insane. 2 Thoughtseizes hit the graveyard. If my opponent was set up with Thoughtseize, Show and Tell, I might have lost this game even through the Double Force. So a Mind Twist finally popped off. Okay, Endurance showing up strong. Cephalid Coliseum strong. This is a Show and Tell deck. This is a Reanimator deck. It is a combo deck either way. I know that this person plays 2 Besejus. One in the main, one in the board. So I might have to actually beat a Resolve Show and Tell at some point, which I'm not excited about. I'm not going to bring in Force of Vigor. Pyroblast also hits Omniscience. Omniscience is in the package over there. Prismatic Ending, not great. Narset, Force, Endurance, I like all of that. Swords of Plowshares does help me beat a resolved thing. Not really a Loam deck. Supreme Verdict might be good. Could shove some, solve some problems real quick. I have my Wastelands for Boseiju. Probably want to prioritize those, like finding them. And I'm going to thin out on Swords of Plowshares and Supreme Verdict. With the Wastelands and all these tools that I have, I'm just going to try to keep monsters from coming into play. And then I have Teferi and 2 Plows left over in case they do. That'll have to work. Let's go. And Caracas, of course. I'm going to keep this. It has Pyroblast that I can cast and Wasteland to clear Boseiju. Ponder from my opponent. I also have the benefit of knowing that there's not a lot of fast mana in this deck. Like Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual were both in the deck when we started working on it, but we rebuilt it for stability rather than speed, and I think we ended up with 1 Dark Ritual in the deck compared to the 4 or 5 pieces of acceleration. Oh, there are Ancient Tombs in the deck. Yeah, so there's Ancient Tomb that could make this happen, but the Ponder probably going to slow it down. And I know his playstyle, and he likes going for stability rather than speed, which is why we rebuilt the deck to fit his playstyle. He's probably going to try to find a Boseiju or go for a sure thing rather than a fast thing. Feel the Dead is dope, but I'm going to give myself the ability to cast Expressive Iteration next turn if I want to. My hand is really bad against the Reanimator half of the deck. Like, Entomb Reanimate here, I got nothing. Don't even have white mana to Swords to Plowshares. Right, I am determined to sandbag this Wasteland as long as possible. Like, I want him sculpting towards Boseiju, and then I'm gonna just cut it out from under him. That's my plan. This looks like an intuition. Yep. Okay. I am gonna counter that. Though 5 cards in hand. This is a Force of Will deck. It's a Thoughtseize deck. Could have just used that to sniff out the Red Blast and now untap and show and tell me. I could lose right now. This hand didn't really materialize after the opening keep on the strength of Wasteland and Reb. Alright, Thoughtseize. Probably going to take Expressive Iteration, would be my guess. Yep. Uh-oh. We're in trouble, team. There's Boseiju, though. I'm ready. Oh, Narset's really good also. Okay. Wasteland, hit Boseiju, and play Narset. Narset makes Grizzlebrand a lot worse. Doesn't really impact Archon at all. And if I can find any of my forces here, I have blue cards to pitch. That was a great draw. Force of Negation is better than Surgical here, because it could come from above or from below. I believe he made the right choice on that Expressive Iteration with the Thoughtseize. It just ripped like a boss. Yeah, eliminate. That's cool tech for the Dimir colors to remove problem planeswalkers, but Narset did her job. Would have been nice to lock down the Brainstorm, but we got a 2-for-1 out of it that also picked up Force of Negation, and Wasteland cleared Boseiju, which was the strength of this hand. Please don't have the second Boseiju. Ooh, we got a Brainstorm lock over there. Yeah, opponent brainstormed and then didn't make a land drop. It's time to URO. I'd like to hit a land that isn't Mystic Sanctuary right now. An island that turns on Mystic Sanctuary would be the nuts. Alright, no nuts here. I am still just going to play my Mystic Sanctuary, though. URO is 1 card away from escaping, and I do have blue, blue, green, green. Still haven't found a white source. If they give me a target for Force of Negation this turn, I can URO next turn. I'm not going to force just, like, literally whatever. It'll have to be a real spell. Because next turn I'm untapping with... Oh, shit. This might be bait, or it might be really good. Okay. Oh, wait, it's my turn. I can't Force a Negation. That was smart. Yep, you're right. No choice to make here. I would have forced this if I could, though. Grizzlebrand in the graveyard. We're in the danger zone. Thoughtseize Reanimate here is really good. Ponder. Not chasing the Ponder. Chose to shuffle. Yeah. Alright, Exhume with maybe Force backup over there. If Exhume resolves, I get an URO trigger at least. Okay. Alright, I get to cast URO here if nothing better shows up. Oh, Wasteland's sick. URO, let's go. Green, green, blue, blue. Exile all the cards from the graveyard. Get something going here. White source? Oh, yes. Okay, I get to put in Wasteland, and then play Fetch Land, which makes a zombie, and then Fetch, get another zombie, and then Wasteland my opponent. I'm gonna fetch for Tundra. Have to do all this before I Wasteland, and I do actually want to Wasteland because Show and Tell is a card in the deck that I don't currently have an answer to. Alright, this is much better position than last turn. If Grizzlebrand arrives, I at least have something going on. Okay, we're cracking that fetch. Land number 3. Uh-oh. Show and Tell, I got nothing. Shields are down. 2 cards left in your hand. What are they? Is it... Alright, Emrakul. Alright, Teferi and Karakas are hits here. Brainstorm, Teferi or Karakas, let's go. Right, get rid of these Swords to Plowshares. Make 2 more zombies. Those are really good at absorbing Annihilation. And I'm going to fetch for... I already have red. Let me just check my deck real quick. Yeah, Teferi and Karakas are the outs here. I can attack with URO to put the Karakas into play, if you're screaming at me that I just played a land drop. I still have one, kinda. Okay, I gotta leave my white up for Teferi. Do I have room to ponder one more time? So, I need 3 mana for Teferi. I want to ponder and brainstorm. Alright, I think I'm gonna shuffle here. I'm just running out of mana to use. Ponder is better than brainstorm here because it sees more cards. Ponder. Force URO. This is another shuffle. Shuffle it. Yes. Endurance. Okay, I got a Brainstorm. Attacking with URO. If I miss on Caracas, then it doesn't matter. Okay, Brainstorm. I can still... I can't Teferi unless I also find mana. Uh-oh. Okay, put back Endurance and Loam. And I get one more shot to find Caracas here. And I'm going to shuffle all of that. Shuffle the library, yes. There's Savannah. I'm going to attack. And the zombies are a free attack because definitely going to block URO. The draw can spike still. And I'm at more than 15 life with lots of permanents to sacrifice. So, like, I'm not even dead to this URO right away. Or this Emrakul right away. So I don't like my position, don't get me wrong. Alright, so you block URO for sure. Go to 12. That was an exciting turn. Didn't get there, but we saw so many cards. Okay, URO's in the graveyard. I'm out of blue mana, so I can't play my other URO right now. Gonna have to pass. I think I'm gonna sack all my zombies and Mystic Sanctuary. Like, Mystic Sanctuary is an exciting one to pick up with Loam. Got a lot of blue here. Yeah, I need as much mana as possible. I think mana is going to do more for me this game than zombie tokens. Petty Theft. Okay, so if you do that, it destroys an extra land. I could spend Force of Will to make this not happen. What's the difference? The difference is I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still in the Field of the Dead. The difference is how much mana I have. Yeah, I think mana is going to be important. I'm just going to spew off my force here. Green, green, green. I'm actually going to sack Basic Forest, not Mystic Sanctuary, because like Ponder Brainstorm kind of stuff is better than Life from the Loam at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Basic Forest, 6. Okay. URO's in the graveyard. I can at least do that. And we'll see what else comes of it. Caracas and Teferi are the outs here. That's pretty good. Blue, blue, green, green. Can still Teferi with what I have here. 1, 2, 4, 5. URO, let's go. Find me the goods. Let's keep this game going. All right, Narset could do what? What can Narset do? Anything? I'm at 14 life. I could plow my own URO and be another turn. Fetch. I'm gonna look at my deck, see if there actually is anything here. If I sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm still just trying to spike. Yeah, Teferi is still the spike here, or Caracas. I need to hit plow off this Narset, and then I need to... Oh man, Surgical and Red Blast. Okay, we've lost. It was a good run though. I'm gonna take a look at the sideboard plan by surgicaling my opponent right now. Okay, we've got Flusterstorm, 4 forces. Oh, Grizzlebrand in hand. We spiked for the show off. Yeah, the show and tell. 1 Omniscience, Animate Dead, 2 Archons, 3 Brazen Borrowers. That was also my idea. Okay. Reanimate. Where are the Thoughtseizes? 1, 2, and the one that was cast, 3 Thoughtseizes. Emrakul, the Promised End. If the game goes too long, that's castable, like, pretty easily. Gotta watch out for that one. Alright. Exile these Grizzlebrands and then concede for game 3. Alright, yeah. Ground through what I was doing there extremely well. That was an exciting last 2 turns, though. We saw a zillion cards drawing to a 2-outer. Good stuff. All right, I think I want Supreme Verdict. That would just be another out to Emrakul. And I think that's the only change I want to make. And I would cut probably Plow for it. I mean, Plow is good against Archon of Cruelty and nothing else, but I don't want that card to come into play. I'm going to play like that card's not coming into play. That's my plan. Let's do this. On the play here, I got show and tell and graveyard stuff covered. This hand's kind of weak, honestly, but gonna have some faith here that the game isn't gonna go quickly. I'm really worried about Thoughtseize. Just seeing how weak this hand is lets him just go ham over there. Okay, that's not gonna be a Thoughtseize. I'm not gonna Red Blast Ponder like this when there is a blue win the game on the spot card in the deck. If I had two, I'd think about it, but not here. I'm going to get my Triome that casts both Red Blast and Endurance. It's the only land in the deck that does that. Don't like that land. Come on, deck. Give me a Brainstorm or something to smooth this out. I need it desperately. I do have my one Swords to Plowshare in the deck, though. The monster suite is kind of all over the place. There's 2 Archons, 2 Grizzlebrands, 1 big Emrakul, 1 small Emrakul. Okay, I like Flusterstorm. I'm going to play basic Island, store up fetch lands in case I need them for future cantrips. What I have in play can cast the spells that need to be cast right now. I could Fluster a Thoughtseize if he doesn't play his land first. Yo. Check it out. Alright, this might mean he doesn't have a land or just sequenced incorrectly. I don't know. Glad I didn't get flustered back. That would have been rough. Okay, just doesn't have a land. Deal. Force of Will. I can cast that next turn. I could Mystic Sanctuary of Flusterstorm into my hand now, but I don't want Flusterstorm. I want Expressive Iteration. I want Brainstorm. I want Ponder. Come on, deck. Okay, that land came off the top because he didn't have one last turn, and missing land drops means you don't have Boseiju also. It's important information to have. And with my 4 mana now, I can Endurance with Pyroblast backup, or Red Blast. Okay, Kraken a fetch. Entomb. Alright, I have the Endurance here, and I can't counter the spell anyway. I'm not like, listen to me like talking to like I can do anything. But I do, fortunately, have the Endurance. Oh, he's got the Shallow Grave. Yeah, there's a 1 of Shallow Grave in this package. Okay, I gotta get Tropical Island and Savannah. Tropical Island and Savannah. If he has double force, I'm just dead. There's no days in the deck. Endurance. Jam this. Don't double force me, homie. Don't you do it. There's 1. I expected 1. Let's see if you got 2. Oh, does have 2. All right, well, I'm not dead. My opponent has 1 card in hand left versus no graveyard, and I get to go land go at 2 life. And the fetch puts me to 1 life. Force pitching show and tell. All right. We're both going to be in the garbage on this one. Sure. Okay, it's in there. All right, I'm getting annihilated. I'm at 2. Fetch land puts me to 1, but this Emrakul dies at the end of the turn. This Swords of Plowshares not being like anything else. I left 1 in the deck, and this is what happens to me. Okay, here we go. Now I have tough decisions to make because if I Brainstorm, I can never force. If I force, I can never fetch. I think mana is more important to me playing this game than Force of Will is. I am going to be patient on this Brainstorm, though. Like, if I'm literally going to die, I'm going to cast the Force. If my opponent casts Show and Tell, I can put in URO. That's actually like a sneaky way to get some extra life here. Oh, now Force doesn't kill me. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm still going to try to hit land drops. Like, if I end up Brainstorm locked in this position, I'm dead. Oh no, it's Brazen Borrower! Uh-oh. Okay, I also advised him to put that card in the deck for situations where you just want to attack a little bit. So, fuck you, me. Do I think his last 2 cards are Force Blue card? We saw Flusterstorm in the deck. I'm going to go now. I can't beat Flusterstorm. I could beat Force if I pass the turn. Okay. Now I'm at 1. The Force of Negation is a godsend here. I can't fetch anymore. I have to draw natural lands into this URO. And now Boseiju's in the mix. All right, I think it's time to Brainstorm. I got to make something going. Oh my god, okay. Put back Misty Rainforest and Narset. play the Trop. I can URO into a land next turn that breaks me out of this 1 life zone I'm in. I can't counter Show and Tell, but the hand has to have Show and Tell and monster in it. Do I think Narset is better or URO is better? I think URO is better. Yeah, just having life points. I'm extremely interested in that. Not being at 1, not being dead to Brazen Borrower out of nowhere. This puts a land into play. And I can escape URO next turn with what I've got going on right now, with Force backup. Oh my god. I feel like Hawkeye right now. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Alright, an uncounterable spell on my end step. It's probably Intuition. As far as 3 mana things go. Yep. Can't fuck with that. And all of the Show and Tells are still in the deck. Or no, 2 of them are in exile. When did that happen? Oh, pitch to Force of Wills? Okay. So this might have to just like be 3 monsters to set up a reanimation plan. Oh, it's 3 Exhumes. Okay. So finding 3 Exhumes means he has to get a monster into the graveyard somehow from here. Oh, Entomb, which I can counter now that I have life points. I'm going to pitch the Force of Negation. With the Boseiju in play, I just don't think I'm going to find a home for that anyway. If he casts Exhume, I get URO back, which can do stuff. 2 cards in hand, one of them is Exhume. Oh my god, this game. Another Force, okay. I still think URO is the play here. Getting Volcanic Island. And even if my opponent has Force, I have enough cards in the graveyard to URO multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just trying to respect both Loam and Endurance here. And Mystic Sanctuary. Alright, there's 2 forces. I need to come up with a Wasteland, but now I'm ahead. And if you Exhume, I get to put Endurance into play. I don't know if that's good, but like, it's not nothing. Surgical Extraction beats a reanimation line, even through Boseiju. And 2 of the Show and Tells are in exile, like I mentioned, from pitching to Forces. Alright, getting eliminated. Didn't use your Boseiju on that. I will go for the punish. I'm gonna use the Force, pitching the Force. I think Narset is gonna be better. Like, unless I draw Wasteland this turn. Oh, fucking hell. Alright. Well, there's that. I'm going to attack with URO and put Wasteland into play. I'm going to waste Boseiju in combat. And I can... Is there a Plains left in my deck? Savannah is here. And is there a Tundra in exile? I think there is a Tundra left in the deck. There's at least the basic Plains. So I think cycling this... No, but Narset can hit like Flusterstorm or Red Blast. Okay. I'm going to Narset, leaving up blue-red. Narset, let's go. Hit Expressive Iteration, give me that. Alright. Grizzlebrand is just a 7/7 right now. Archon is a pain in the ass. That's just looking at 3 cards, thanks to Narset. Show and Tell puts Timeless Dragon into play, so I have something resembling a board. Okay, I think I want to EI first to see where this turn is going. Leaving up green for Endurance seems to make more sense. Okay, Surgical in hand, Pyroblast on the bottom, exile Flooded Strand, play Flooded Strand for turn, activate Narset. Just a grip full of bangers, Force of Will in my hand. Okay, I got upstairs and downstairs covered right now. URO spiked the land. Alright, opponent's at 4. I'm just going to pass. I have Show and Tell and Reanimate covered. Can't draw cards because of Narset. Hell yeah, that's good Bant content. At 1 life, survived an Emrakul hit, and just grind back. URO, Titan of Nature's Wrath, folks. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the play for the last round here, I've got Loam and Force of Will. Let's go. That's a game plan. Gonna land go here. I can plow if I need to. I recognize this opponent's name, not in a useful way, but like I've definitely played against them before. Zenith for 0. Okay. Tropical Island's a little sus here. I'm gonna play around Daze by going to my turn. Oh. Brainstorming might be better than dazing here. Or playing around Daze. I could do both. Or no, I can't do both. Alright, I'm just gonna save the Brainstorm. Loam's in my hand. We'll find a home for that eventually. Swords to Plowshares. No rush. Wasteland would have been the most fucked up draw possible there. Okay, you got a Brainstorm. Okay, so we are a 60 card Green Sun Zenith blue deck of some variety. This could be some sort of like blue Maverick or like an actual like food chain or some kind of deck that actually uses all these things. Like that was not a coherent thought. My brain is mush. It could be food chain or a Lauren, but at 60 cards, I don't really suspect that. I suspect like bug value more than anything else here. I could just cast Loam here, or I could Brainstorm and then cast Loam. There's no need to Brainstorm here. I'm gonna fetch and then cast Loam. Let me get this Tropical Island, play the basic island to get around Daze, in case that's a thing that they do. I'm just gonna put these 2 cards in my hand. Alright, now Brainstorm is supercharged. A land. What do we got here? The scariest thing is like Leovold. Grist is pretty good too. Do I want to Force of Will Grist? I could Brainstorm first, but then I'm playing into Daze. Grist, I have Prismatic Ending in my deck that can answer it once it's in here. Alright, I'm going to Brainstorm, and I'll expose myself to Daze in order to maybe do better with the Brainstorm. Or with the Force. Okay. Put back the 2 Misty Rainforests, because I can Dredge Loam and recover those next turn. Do I want to lose Narset to fight this Grist? Grist answers Narset anyway. Alright, yeah, I will Force pitching Narset. Force back, not unexpected. Force pitching Force. Here's Grist, that resolves. Oh, Grist milled URO. Good shit. For someone, but not me. That means I don't get to Dredge Loam here, because I have to tangle with URO. Because if I Dredge Loam, then I don't get another green source right now. They currently only have 4 cards in the graveyard. I'll let them commit another card before I go for the Endurance. Yeah, the Prismatic Vista will force a priority shift. Okay, Insect is attacking. Insect is not attacking. Oh, yep, they know about Endurance. A solid read. Yep, it's Endurance time. If I pass priority on this Prismatic Vista, they can immediately Endurance, and I'm out of luck. So Savannah and Endurance. Endurance, target my opponent, get your graveyard out of here. The Swords to Plowshares can also blow out Grist right now, because Grist, the sacrifice, is part of the resolution of Grist. So if they minus right now, I can plow the Insect. Zenith for 3. Yikes. Is that your own Endurance? Or is that Leovold? I'm going to plow the Insect anyway. Like, if this is Leovold, I don't want them to draw a card off my plow. Yeah, Leovold, and I can just attack into that. Come on, deck. If I Dredge Loam, I still can draw cards this turn, but that also doesn't really matter. EI without a land drop is still mostly fine. Red, blue, with all my other colors up. There's a lot of castable spells here. That's annoying. That's how it goes wrong. Because I need this Caracas. Okay, Caracas in my hand, Brainstorm on the bottom, exile Brainstorm. That sucks. Gonna attack Grist. Probably chump with Insect. Yep. And I can't Brainstorm. It's not like Ponder where I could at least look at my top 3 cards and then it's not a big deal. Like, no, this is bad. I hope they give me a juicy Force of Negation target. Just let me face up this thing. Hard cast it. Made another Insect. Milled a Brainstorm. Just elbow tap for a Green Sun Zenith, please. Oh, just passing the turn. Still not going to Dredge Loam. Cephala Coliseum is juicy. It's Caracas. That can mess up Leovold, kind of, but not really. Doesn't actually mess it up at all. It just sort of lets them draw cards and moves it around from zone to zone. But at least if I draw a Brainstorm, I can just smush Leovold out of there and do something with it. They didn't block this turn. They're setting up a sack the insect to clear the endurance permanently situation. I don't have removal for the insect. That would have forced a sack on Leovold. Do I want them to lose 2 life or know that I have Cephalid Coliseum? Those are the options here. And do I want Thoughtseize in the graveyard? I'm going to force a negation and see if they want to like fight over that. And I'm going to tap like I have another endurance. I started to tap green and then backed off it. Force of negation. They're an URO deck. Like, there's cards in the graveyard that matter. Cephalid Coliseum's pretty awkward right now. I could dredge Loam, cast Loam, pick up 3 lands, bounce Leovold, and do like a big load up. That's probably what I need to do here. Probably means I want to bounce or Leo in the end step. Oh, you are in a learn deck. Cool. Am I dead? Oh, that means that Karakas doesn't even do anything. Shit. Just hard locked by this fucking Leovold. Okay. No longer dredging Loam. Oh, but if I do this all in the correct order, I can at least like try to have a chance here. Okay. I'm going to dredge the Loam. I'm going to cast the Loam. Only hit 2 lands. That's sad. Green, blue. And I'm going to play Cephalid Coliseum. And they could flash in Leo in response to Cephalid Coliseum, but if I just hold up Coliseum, it doesn't really matter. Wrist, Milton Aloran. So I was kind of right that this was a combo deck at the end of the day. They're passing the turn. I'm not going to Karakas now. Prismatic Ending plays. At 5 mana up, that represents Force of Will. I could Wasteland, but then they get to draw a card. Man, Leovold's fucked up. White, blue, green. Okay. Hit you with Prismatic Ending. Flash and Baleful Strix. Okay. I could also just get comboed out in response to everything that's happening right now. Like a Cavern Harpy just saves this thing. Imperial Recruiter for Cavern Harpy. Yep. All right, I've just lost in response. Fair enough. I have long said on this channel and elsewhere that control decks with a combo finish in them are naturally predacious on the combo decks that don't have a combo in them. All right, I'm good. I'm good. You win. Yeah, I just got stone bricked by Leovold as a magic card. I might have gotten too clever for myself using the plow on that insect, and like I could have just plowed that Leovold 100 years ago. Yeah, that was probably bad. Ashiok's going to be good. They're both an Uro deck and a tutor deck. Most of their cards are not instants and sorceries that I care about. Force of Vigor can fight over a Aloran. There's one Canonist is bonkers. I can even flash it in with a Aloran. Force of Negation, kind of bad. Force of Plowshare is good. The Fairy, really good. Like, this is the problem with the control mirrors where they have a combo and you don't. Like, you want to cut Force of Will, but you can't because they have a card that you just lose to. I don't think I want Supreme Verdict. Like, I want to control the board more than that. Plow's really good. Ending is good, but I'm kind of upgrading it to Pyroblast in a lot of ways. Endurance does matter, Narset matters, Uro matters, it all matters. Wasteland isn't super important to this matchup. I can't keep them off 4 mana forever, my deck's really slow. Maybe I'll shave 1 force, take the risk, and I'm going to submit. I'm not bringing in Carpet of Flowers against the Leovold deck because Carpet triggers every upkeep and or every main phase and targets your opponent whether you like it or not, and they get to draw cards. Okay, Island Ponder, let's do it. And I'm going to cast the Ponder. I know what I'm up against. Land in another Ponder. I like that. I'm going to put the Ponder in my hand. Just more blue cards, more options if I need to force, and that land's going to be there next turn anyway. Thoughtseize, yep. Have a look. I guess knowing they're a Thoughtseize deck, maybe I was supposed to hide the Ponder, but I don't think they're taking Ponder from this hand. Yeah, Narset was my expectation, and opponent delivered. I can Brainstorm and Ponder and just totally mix my hand around right now. I think that's where I want to be. Cephalid Coliseum is a later problem. Wasteland, not helpful at all. And I'm going to fetch and for a Tundra and cast Ponder here. I just want to scramble them after that Thoughtseize. No good information. I'll put Ponder in my hand with Expressive Iteration and Endurance under it. I need another land in play to play the EI or the Endurance, so I can spend another turn pondering, get both of them in hand, fetch Ketria Triome. I don't like all these basics that they're representing here. I would be impressed if they found space for a Zenith package and a Lauren package and back to basics in their deck, but it could happen. I have Swords to Plowshares for something like Opposition Agent or Hull Breacher, so I'm just going to fetch the Triome. Endurance, we'll see you later, buddy. I don't actually want that right now. Certainly not at the expense of advancing my board state. Field of the Dead's pretty cool. Maybe I'll just take the turn off and play Field of the Dead. Yeah, I'll do that. Not really doing anything else anyway. The appeal of Expressive Iteration was digging for the land drop, but Field of the Dead is that. They have no green mana in play right now, so unless they have like a filter land or Spirit Guide, I'm not in danger of getting a Lorand right now. There's the first green. All right, well, that checks the Aloran box for sure. This is good for 3 mana. A Prismatic Ending if I get another turn. They know I have Force of Will in hand, so if they go for anything, it's going to be backed up. Okay, I'm not going to fight over URO. That's fine. I'm going to let this URO trigger resolve, see if there's a... if there's not a land forthcoming. With this green floating, they can still cast Leovold, so I'm not going to plow the URO right now. Wrist. That one's annoying, but I have Prismatic Ending. Okay. URO's in the graveyard with 4 other cards. There's a land drop. Red. I think my white mana is more important than my green right now. Okay, Narset in hand, or is Brainstorm better? I think it's Narset in hand. Brainstorm on the bottom, exile Flooded Strand. Play Flooded Strand, Prismatic Ending, Carpet of Flowers. And I can Swords to Plowshares URO if they find the green mana to and the card. They need a card in the graveyard and green mana. A fetch land gets them both. Ice Fang, Coatl, sure. Maybe I did want Supreme Verdict. Seeing Coatl and Strix in the deck. I wasn't expecting both. Maybe I should have been. The Grist milling gives them 5 cards for URO next turn. I think I want a Mystic Sanctuary for EI here. I got to keep up somehow, and this engine is what the appeal of the deck is. And cast that Expressive Iteration. Let's do it. I'm going to put URO in my hand, Timeless Dragon on the bottom, and exile Forest. Play Forest, and play URO. If this URO resolves and triggers, it gives me Misty Rainforest, and I'm in the field, so I get 2 zombies out of it. Okay, feeling good. All right, I'm gonna pass the turn now. I'm in the Field of the Dead, which goes bigger than Grist. I have Swords to Plowshares for this URO in their graveyard if they come up with the green mana to even cast it. Sudden Edicting, spending a card on not a card is a deal. Okay, they have their URO mana here. I'm probably just going to plow URO in response to its trigger before they get to draw the extra card. URO resolves, and plow it right now before more cards are in the hand. I don't expect this to be a Wasteland deck, but I'm still going to fetch now. Like in case this trigger puts Wasteland into play and takes me out of the field. Let's just get a zombie. There is a land off the URO. Continue milling with Grist makes sense. Probably going to attack for 1 with Coatl, but not attack with the insects because they are smaller than my zombie. It's a lot of Swords to Plowshares. There's an URO in my graveyard. Green, green, blue, blue. I can ponder and still URO this turn. Here we go. These are all cards I'm extremely interested in. Do not shuffle the library. I get a zombie here. I get to cast URO. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm drawing Prismatic Ending, which unfortunately I can't cast right now and clear the Grist with. You can cast Narset right now, though. If I want to shuffle and give myself a chance to spike an extra land here, that's actually kind of cool. I feel like I want Prismatic Ending. No, fuck it. I'm off it. Nope. I'm going to try to go for the land. I'm going to get Volcanic Island here. URO trigger. Life from the Loam. Okay. That's good starting next turn. There is danger to casting Narset here because that's my blue card. That Grist. Yeah, I think I want to let URO just do some work here. URO's hanging out, Field of the Dead's hanging out. Double blocking my zombie, just spending resources to deal with my resource at a 2-to-1 rate. That's fine. Light from the Loam's in my hand. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up Force. Knowing they're a combo deck, I don't want to goof around too much here. Basic Forest. My opponent is also mercifully spending more time than I am on decisions. I appreciate that. Attacking for 1. Attacking before you activate Grist is smart, because if I do Swords to Plowshares the insect, then you have to sacrifice the Quaddle, then you miss damage. You don't mind sacking Quaddle, but you don't want to miss damage. Baron. This bounces up to one other creature permanent. Yeah, that's fine. If URO wants to be in my hand, it's cool, and I can plow the Quaddle for kind of a blowout here. Okay, cool. Fizzles that ability. That's 2 cards they don't get to draw. 3 mana 2/2 achieved. Still making insects. Betting on Grist versus URO. Unless they can Abrupt Decay URO, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to cast Light from the Loam before combat. Let's see what you got for me. Abrupt Decay confirmed. Got it. And there are basic islands in my deck still, and basic planeses. So, fetch, basic island, zombie, URO, blue, green, 1, 3, 4, 5. Plenty of lands kicking around. I don't need to leave those in the graveyard anymore. Not going to dredge Loam here. There's a basic plains in the deck I can still reach for. I'm going to attack Grist with both of my zombies. Still on that double block life. I'm going to fetch that basic plains. Then I'm going to play Narset, leaving up white. I have the plow in my hand rather than trying to spike for a red blast here. Waddle in response makes sense. Activate Narset. Pyroblast Ashiok. Yeah, I'm putting Ashiok in my hand. Let's do that. Let you know, Grist and all those Imperial Recruiters and everything are on notice. 3 cards in hand. It has to be a Lauren and a payoff creature and protection for that payoff creature right now. Or a Lauren Force payoff creature. I don't know that there are 3 cards in the hand that this right now. Oh, but Baron's already in play, so that's like one moving part they don't need. Attacking me instead of Narset, that means they're going to minus Grist to kill Narset, sacking the Quaddle. That's what's going on here. Do I want to plow? I think I do. No. I can live without Narset. I can't live if they turn around and jam a Lauren with protection with 1 creature now that I wasted my plow. Yeah, I'm just going to play like a control deck here. Brainstorm. That's a good reason to kill Narset. Thoughtseize. Bummer. Let's see if Ashiok goes away here. I have 2 forces and an additional blue card, so they can't just like strip me and go for a Lauren now. Looks like I finally overwhelmed Grist. Got a bunch of lands here. Field of the Dead doing work. I'm going to attack opponent with URO and send all of the zombies at Grist. Yeah, this plays around removal spell and blocker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can cast both of these forces. I'm just going to pass the turn here. 2 cards in hand to my 2 counter spells in hand. Good place to be. I'm going to end step Endurance just to speed this up a bit. Actually going to target myself. My graveyard's full of good cards right now. Let's put them back in my deck. I don't need a Loam. I think I'm out of fetchables. They were Abrupt Decay URO. Fucking whatever. Okay, the tactical concession to save time to win game 3. I am up 1 minute on the clock. Do I want Flusterstorm against the Thoughtseizes? That's an angle that I did not consider when sideboarding last game. The Supreme Verdict does mop up all number of like grist idiots. Swords of Plowshares is so good, but also like kind of bad. My elegant explanation of that. And then I can another force. I don't want to be that low on forces, but also like this Thoughtseize Force of Will deck, I'm not convinced that I can reliably push through. No, I can't go to 2 forces. Narset's good, URO's good. It's a lot of Red Blast. Okay, I'm actually going to shave a Red Blast and do it like this. Because Red Blast doesn't counter the Allurin, which is the card I'm most worried about. It doesn't counter Green Sun Zenith, which can be anything. It does counter URO and Cavern Harpy, which are important cards in the matchup. So I want some still in there. It's really tough balancing against this good deck that also has a good combo. I got a mulligan this one. It doesn't have 2 mana or blue mana. This has both of those things. I'm gonna put it's either Pyroblast or EI. I think it's Pyroblast. If I'm gonna deliver on one of those 2 promises, I prefer it to be EI. Basic Swamp. No Thoughtseize. I'm gonna lead on Field of the Dead. Let's just get that into play. Get it out of the way right now while it's safe. It's also not an island for Carpet of Flowers considerations. Okay, I get a Ponder here. That's good. I do need white mana. And red, really. Wish I had a Plateau. Okay, that is white and red mana. Funny enough. All right, let's put the Flooded Strand in the hand with Ketria Triumph under it. That means I can URO next turn, putting in the Ketria Triumph. But that also taps me out. Maybe I just want to Teferi first. Carpet. All right, that is good for a mana now. I can plow a creature or Teferi and bounce the Carpet. Fucking Grist. I wonder how many of those are in the deck. It's probably a lot. If it's 1, I'm mad. If it's more than 1, it's okay. Okay, this Grist makes the Teferi a lot worse than I want it to be. I could still go for the URO line, but that just dies to Allurin. But if I just like confidently tap out here. Oh, this gives them so much mana though. Shit. I can't do this. Maybe I can. Oh, Savannah is not an island. Okay. Yeah, if I just like confidently tap out, that shows Force of Will. Prismatic Ending, maybe next turn. Okay. Like, I don't have anything, so I'm going to play like I do. I'm just going to represent that I have something going on here that I don't. Like, the only play I had was leave up Swords to Plowshares and hope that it could break up the Allurin, but just fearlessly tapping out into Allurin mana telegraph something at least that I'm happy to telegraph. Like, this shows strength where showing what I actually have shows weakness because my hand is weak. Attacked for 1. Didn't make mana in the first main. If they just have Thoughtseize Allurin pay off. Alright, didn't even make mana with Carpet. Their hand sucks too. Nice. Okay, got away with that. But I think it was a strategically sound play that was made. I only have 1 white here. I can use it on Teferi or on Prismatic Ending. I can also EI right now. That sounds like something worth doing. Blue-red, Expressive Iteration. Nice, okay. I already have an URO in the mix. I'm going to put Brainstorm in my hand, URO on the bottom, exile Plains, play the Plains, Prismatic Ending. The Carpet. Do I care about Carpet? They didn't even use it last turn. I could save this thing to remove Grist. I think I do care about Carpet, though. And now I'm chilling. Grist milled and Allurin last turn. That's good. I don't want to see that around. Taking 2 here. Finally under my starting life total. Hey, main phase Coatl. They're trying to hit a land drop right now. Or just casting blue spells when I don't have red mana. That's also viable. Activating Grist, milled a Thoughtseize. Happy to see that go. Flusterstorm. I like a Flusterstorm. Do I like it enough? I could stick to Fairy, and then... there's so many stupid creatures in play, but I think it's okay. Alright, I'm going to go for Teferi first. Which is, like, not even good on this board. Force pitching URO, that's pretty bold. Storm is currently 2. If I plow Coatl, that adds a Storm. This might be a little reckless, but I need to clean up this board anyway, and Teferi is a 2-for-1. And they forced it, getting another 2-for-1 out of the deal, losing URO, which is like a huge piece of all of this. And they get to just clear it in combat. It's not even a huge deal. Because if I plus, they can also just use Grist minus to fuck it up. All right, I'm just going to keep the Ponder, keep showing strength here. They just pitched URO to Force, which is one of their Aloran combo pieces. Like, their hand needs to be Aloran and Creature at this point. Grist is plussing, Milled a Carpet of Flowers. All right, we're going into my turn with Narset hanging out, and I can get them with the Mind Twist next turn. Okay, they are showing Force of Will, though. I could just cast URO. I am in the Field of the Dead also. All right. I like Cephalid Coliseum going into the field. And then green, green, blue, blue, green, green, blue, blue. Let's put URO on the stack. If they hardcast Force, it's fine. In response to URO's trigger, I want to Brainstorm, because this gives me more chances to hit a land. Right, Force of Will. Slightly disappointing, but fine. I'm going to put Narset and Plow on top of the deck. That way Narset is there next turn, and it gets to fade a Thoughtseize. And now I have Force and Plow to stop myself from getting comboed out. My opponent knows that none of the cards in my hand are lands right now, because they would have been in play. I just drifted slightly behind on clock, and I need to stay cognizant of that. I am ahead here. I just need to actually win the game and not lose the game by accident. I don't think I'm in danger of losing the game by accident, but I need to manage my clock while I do it. Ponder, found, Ponder. The first Ponder did not shuffle. Every time they tap mana under 4 is a turn I don't have to worry about Aloran, so I appreciate it. Grist gets to mill a card from the Ponder. Ponder did not shuffle. They got rid of Force of Will, which means they either aren't bothering to protect their Aloran, or they already have protection for Aloran. Those are the possible things that means. Okay, I'm going to go to combat first. That Grist with both of my creatures. And with this Brainstorm, or with this trigger on the stack, I'm going to Brainstorm. I'm going to use Volcanic Island. There's more green cards than red cards in the mix right now. That's a good red card. Put back Timeless Dragon and Plow. That lets me put this Tropical Island into play, which gets a zombie. Icefang Coatl, sure. It is not Death Touch. Jump Block, Insect, Grist takes 2. It's cool. Then Narset, blue, blue, colorless. Guess I should have stacked the dragon to make sure that Narset hits, because I could have put Plow on top. All right, Narset hit new Narset. I'm going to stop in their draw step, and I'm going to give up on Red Blast to hit them with the Mind Twist here. I guess if they have Abrupt Decay, it's kind of a blowout. Oh, I don't have Threshold, lol. Whoops. Set that all up for nothing. Now I look like a dummy, but I'm going to get you with Red Blast. All right, it's fine. It's fine. I have another Narset. That's what happens when you play fast. A 3-mana spell. This is probably Leovold. I'm going to let them have it. I have 2 answers to Leovold in hand. Yep. Like, I would hate to force that and then lose to Aloran next turn. Just not good magic. Words to Plowshares will give you an additional card, which is fine, because I can Red Blast a Force of Will here. Leovold's gone. Let's go. I'm drawing wild here. All creatures attack Grist. I am actually trying to get over the finish line this game. I probably would have pondered or brainstormed in the main phase to try to hit a land drop, but I spiked one anyway. The magic gods are smiling. We're getting some chump blocks on Grist. It's good stuff. And now I do have Threshold, so let's get this other Narset in. Narset and activate you and put Ponder in my hand. And I'm gonna get you with the Mind Twist now. It could Abrupt Decay to break this up, but I just hope you don't do that. Okay, draw 3, discard 3. Even if they do have Abrupt Decay, it's still like gonna cost them their mana for the turn. Or some of their mana for the turn, and then like a loot is good, but it's not game ending if they mess up the Narset here. And it might be if they don't. Okay, the Cephalid Coliseum has resolved, so they have to discard 3 cards right now. All right, Volcanic Island, Endurance, and Force. Ooh, Volcanic Island's in this deck. Surprise Pyroblast that I wasn't ready for. And they conceded. All right, well, I officially used almost every minute in every round of that matchup, or in this league, which is pretty brain-bending. The clock was a problem in, or at least a factor in, like 3 of our 5 matches. It actually lost us 1 match. Like, we didn't even get to start game 3. We're just out of time. That is a serious problem for this deck. And although you don't have chess clocks in paper, you have the shared clock and you can move a little faster. Having been there myself and played these decks myself, it is a challenge in paper as well. Keep that in mind if you're going to select these decks. And really, I have felt this way for a long time, and I still feel this way now, which is there are other decks that can control a game like this. There are other Brainstorm, Ponder, Swords of Plowshares, Force of Will decks that can actually close out games. There's other builds of Bant that can actually close out games, like with Food Chain or Aloran or Days Undoing, whatever. Grixis control with 2 Furies in the main deck will win a game very quickly. You can play control in Legacy without subjecting yourself to all of this with the clock. You can also play Bant, as demonstrated by my opponent in this league and by the league I played last week on the channel. You can play URO decks with Endurance. Like, you can do all this stuff without exposing yourself to Blood Moon, Price of Progress, Wasteland, etc. Like, you're really only getting Pyroblast and Expressive Iteration out of your Ketria Triome and your Volcanic Island here, out of your whole 4th color. And obviously those cards are good, but like 4 UROs in the deck, you're going to draw a lot of cards anyway. Is Expressive Iteration better than just UROing with more reliability? Loam still draws a lot of cards. You have more room for Planeswalkers. I'm just not super convinced that EI is worth the splash in the main. Pyroblast is an excellent card. There's not really replacing that one, but you can play like Mystical Disputes and find room for Dress Downs, and like there are other tools that sort of cover gaps. Nothing's quite exactly the same, but yeah, I love this play pattern. I really do. I just answer everything, gain life, hit land drops, just stay alive until they're dead. It's just, you are working so hard for your wins. Even the 4-color check pile, which I've played on the channel 3 times now, I think. That's 4-color without green. This is 4-color without black. Like, Hymn to Tarak, Thoughtseize, Snapcaster Mage, Hymn to Tarak, like, that softens up an opponent in a way that is meaningful, so you can actually start to push damage. This deck is just always on the back foot. You're just always 2-for-1ing until they're literally out of cards, and then you can start pushing forward. Like, you don't really have a gas pedal to press, and I think that is a problem in Legacy at large, not even accounting for the clock. I just think that being this reactive is pretty rough. Obviously, Magic is a personal game, and if this is how you want to play Magic, go for it. Just understand that you're up against the clock and you're up against a lot of factors, and you're making more work for yourself, which you're certainly allowed to do. I just this is not how I would choose to play Control, and I'm not sure that Control is even that well positioned right now. Even the well positioned Control decks are kind of mid-range decks, where they're Control insofar as they have removal and counter spells in them, but they're mid-range where they have some sort of pivot in the mid game with Days Undoing or whatever to really just start attacking instead. And this deck doesn't do that. All that sounded really harsh, I'm sure. I am very tired after this 4-hour league I just played. I hope it is harsh but fair. At the very least, like, I hope it's fair. And I do think the changes I made to the deck increased the viability in the metagame. I think the card choices are well reasoned. I just think the strategy itself is in a really tough spot right now. I'm going to leave this here before I keep rambling and make this deck sound worse than it is. It's totally fine. Like, it's good. It's in fact good. Just, I think you could find these play patterns in a cleaner way in a deck that is better positioned overall. Spunky, thank you for asking me to revisit this. I don't mind doing it once in a while. I would not choose it for a tournament tomorrow, but it is something you can do, and I think this list is a pretty good way to do it. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the links, buy some shirts from Coalesce Apparel, do all the stuff in the video description below that supports the channel. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.